Humans are small yet great. There's this incongruity. Many, many times I have stood outside on a winter's night and looked up at the stars and found this passage coming unbidden to my mind. When I look at all this, who are we? What's that about? We are tiny, microscopic, and whereas the moon and the stars go on from one century to another, from one eon to another, it seems, we humans come and go. The longest lived of us don't last that long at all in comparison with what's going on above us in the sky. Nevertheless, God wants to work in and through us. And the mystery of the gospel is that God has come to be one of us, to be the human, the ultimate human with a capital H, to be the Son of Man, the one who is then set in authority. So that verse 5 speaks about humans in general, but also points to Jesus in particular. You have made them a little lower than God. The word there is Elohim, which is the plural meaning, the plural word for God in the Old Testament, but also can mean angels or divine beings. You made them little lower than the celestial ones, and you have crowned them with glory and honor, putting all things under their feet by giving them, verse 6a, dominion over the works of your hands. This is the vocation of image-bearing human beings, according to Genesis chapter 1, verses 26, 7, and 8. Humans there seen as the crown and glory of creation, the ones who are to stand at the awkward and perhaps dangerous intersection of heaven and earth. This is what it means to be image bearers. Reflecting God's image doesn't just mean looking like God or reflecting God back to God. It means standing as the angled mirror between God and the world, reflecting God's care and stewardship into the world and reflecting the praises of the world back to God. This psalm is flanked by the latter, namely verses 1 and 9, reflecting the praises of all creation back to God. And then the central part here, verses 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, is reflecting the wise stewardship and care of God into his world and over his creatures. And that is exactly what humans are called to do in Genesis chapter 1. And you see them beginning to do it in Genesis 2, where Adam is naming the animals. But something to do with the strange business that humans know in their bones that they have a responsibility for the world. You don't have to have government directives insisting that people should go and dig gardens and that sort of thing. Humans do that, as we might say, by the light of nature. We want to create order. We want to facilitate beauty. And we want, some of us more than others, to be able to organize bits of human society, whether it's simply being a homemaker and making that home a place of beauty, a kind of a microcosm of a good and wise creation, or whether it's people who know in their bones that something has to be done about this or that aspect of society, and they find that they can work at that and make it happen. All sorts of human vocations fit on this map. We are given dominion over the works of God's hand. Now, of course, that's dangerous. People have said, oh, this just is a license for exploitation. Well, it isn't. If you begin and end by saying, oh Lord, our governor, our sovereign, how excellent is your name in all the world, then any dominion that we humans have must be congruent with the wise, loving purposes of God for his creation, over against the enemies or the avengers who would be arrogantly tearing it apart or exploiting it. So the genuine human vocation is not to exploit, but to look after and enable God's creation to flourish, so that wise farming methods, wise husbandry, wise gardening, crop sowing and reaping and so on, this all comes under that.